It's been ages since I've done a video, so that thing, it's into the beauty. So I wanted to kind of do a bit of a vlog as to what the hell's been going on. It's all the fault of these damn WAZA Air things here. These things have given me the gift of volume. Normally I'm playing here in my studio, do my little custom over there, or mix stuff, or I'm going to work and playing, like really cranking, but here I can't do that. So these have given me the joy of really being able to crank up my guitar and get into higher gain stuff that I don't usually get involved with. You know, I'm kind of like humping whales type, all sorts of weird sounds, filters and delays and just weird stuff. But I've been getting into drive seriously lately, and these things 3 months ago sparked off with the discovery of what a little boost pedal will do into what do you call it, a muff, the electro harmonics thing. I did a video on that, was really excited about it, and this has just launched me into this hellacious discovery of drive and tone and gain stacking and all this nonsense. So that was the first taste, little gateway drug. This is the second one, and in the next day or two, or the next week or so, I should be getting into more things. One is a percolator pedal guy, this guy named Chris Ray out of Texas. And the one thing that all of these things have in common is they're gonna, one, make up this whiteboard. Obviously that's an exception, but I'm trying to make a subboard that's all white. This percolator pedal that's coming, the little coffee thing, about yay big, it's going to be a fuzz, my first ever fuzz, and it's going to go in the front of all this. All of these are aesthetic choices, though. I mean, for me, it was a $50 pedal. I didn't really care, I just thought it looked really cool. I was checking out 60 cycle hum, I heard it, ton of gain, interchangeable tubes. If you really get in there, you can see that just glowing. I fell in love with that whole idea. So this had nothing to do with, I don't know, tone. I would certainly say from looking at Ryan's video on this thing, I was immediately just taken with it. I thought, what the hell? And grabbed it. Everything since there has been an aesthetic choice, and this is something that we've been discussing a lot in some of the private chats with all the, the absolute batshit crazy Midi Mad Sinus dudes. I thought this was really interesting. We were talking about, what is it that drives your choices? And my choices of late have been purely aesthetic. I needed a white drive to go on the white board. I kind of slipped back into the whole Midi thing. This thing is an amazing Midi controlled device, but how it actually sounded was sort of the last thing that I was looking at. Not to slight anything, I actually quite enjoy the way this thing sounds, but I bought this strictly based on the fact that this is a blues breaker, king of tone sort of type circuit with a whole bunch of crazy tricks. So the functionality of this was much more important to me than how it sounded. And that's really what this video is about. What goes into deciding drive pedals, as this whole discussion has been driving me utterly insane. I really think I should be getting back to my good old Helix days, because this is just getting ridiculous now. But bear with me. There's a lot of reasons why, sound aside, I would go into it. One, that thing looks brilliant. It sounds decent. But you've got 8 different settings here, 8 different ranges on each of these knobs. You've got 3 programmable, stackable, what do you call them, diode functions, quad diodes, symmetrical, asymmetrical, dual diodes, and then you've got one where it goes off and it's just working the op amp. They all sound fabulous, but there's a huge dynamic range. There's a boost in this thing that can be set to 4 different stages for a lead boost. Amazing. This is got an 18 volt pump inside. It's a 9 volts in, but it's got the same sort of headroom as a King of Tone, which has 18 volts, which we've got in the Helix. So this is kind of a mix of what's in the Helix, what isn't in the Helix, but it's all analog. And I really wanted to know, does this analog stuff make a difference? Here are my findings so far, based on this here puppy. Isn't it beautiful? I mean, isn't it beautiful? This thing, if I'm feeding my guitars into it, like my Variacs with P90s, it's like sticking a magnifying glass on that guitar. I can see which way the wiring is going without looking up which way the wire is going. If I'm in the middle position, the 2 P90s start canceling one another out. They cancel the hum. If I'm just in the neck position, you can really hear it. You can get all sorts of antenna-like behavior coming off the guitar. You can really hear it. As you're moving around, it sounds different. It's AC powered, 12 volts. And you can hear the interactions because this thing is just so cranked. Dialing it up or down a bit makes a huge difference, and the change to the dynamics, changing the volume knob, is really incredible. So, that's just beautiful. And you can change the tubes. Who doesn't like tubes? Huh? Boom, I got totally sucked in on that one. Utterly impractical because it takes 400 or so milliamps, 500, 600. This thing chews power. And that really brings me on to one of the main functional reasons as to why I've been going so heavy into this whole drive thing. 200 milliamps. Now, I'm powering everything on my boards with these Mission 529 series, or that one. My goal is, literally, I take the WAZAs, which have about 5-6 hours of autonomous playtime, and 1, 2, 3, maybe 4 even of these small analog pedals, which chew way less than this. The ones I've got coming in are chewing, I don't know, 40, 80 milliamps, if that. And that means when I'm off exploring sounds and I want to explore drives and I want to explore simple stuff, 600 milliamps, 600, 500 milliamps, 200 milliamps, we're going way down. These new pedals that are coming in, and some of the other ones that I've got in the back there, are well under 100 milliamps. So I could literally go with a battery pack and these things for 2 or 3 days at a time without even worrying about charging. Yeah, I'll have to charge this up, but that's like 5 hours of playtime without even thinking about it. And that's really what I'm looking at when it comes to all these external pedals. It's getting away from the screens and getting away from the editors. With this, yes, you've got iPad access, but you're pretty well much playing blind with that. All you've got to mess with are 2 buttons, up and down, for your presets. So I can use the DSP in this thing to give me all the delays I want, and sort of a range of 1 amp divided into 5, going from clean to brown sound. And everything in this sounds phenomenal, at least to me. It really does. There's been a lot of discussion also in the groups about the Helix versus, say, home playing things. And again, this really just, I don't understand why this is the case. Maybe someone can explain this to me, but the Boss stuff, I don't know how you feel about Boss, but This is my first ever Boss thing, and I can't get a bad sound out of this thing. And that for me is weird. I like weird. To explain it, you can plug this thing in. I generally load up presets from off the net or from guys in the WAZA Air group and go to town on it. And I don't really want to know what's in there. I just plug into it blindly on purpose and then start messing with it with other pedals. Stuff like this thing, you know, or I'll run my delays and stuff through it and run that fairly clean. But I don't really want to know what's in there. I leave that as like the secret sauce. And go and play with this thing for hours and hours on end. And I absolutely love that. And that for me is the whole point of this whole analog thing. Way less power. A lot of functionality. The way that I'm playing with it, you know, that's on my head. These things are right in front of me. And I'm just twisting these knobs. And I get that. I really like twisting knobs and dialing stuff in, but that means this has to be right in front of me. This, I get all that joy and fun out of it. And then I can play with my Midi stuff using the iPad to save those things. I can come back to it and get at it later. The fuzz that's coming will sit, you know, right here. And I can tweak it, and maybe I'll have to go old school and make notes as to how it's working, or I'll just find a sweet spot for it. But this is a video that has been a long time coming. And literally, Drive for me has been possibly the most complicated thing that I've come across. Is what's not to like. I find that everything in the Helix, I really enjoy it. I'm learning that you can dial these things down. I'm very conflicted still on this Lamb. I think I should have gotten the Lion. The Lion version of this is the exact same thing, but it is rat based. And I seem to have gone from, you know, whale humping, purely, what would you call it? Sort of ambient sounds, sort of freaky sounds, sort of experimental sounds, to these ultimate Drive sounds. And to say the stuff that influences me the most, you know, sound-wise, guitar-wise, is always the guitar into an amp that is being cranked, but I'm not like going for metal or anything like that. I'm just going for that super bitey interaction between the guitar pickups and the first stages of the gain thing going into whatever amp. I don't really care. So, and close this out. Question 4. The mini mad scientists out there, the WAZA Air owners, and everybody else. When you first started getting into this stuff, considering that I've come from the digital realm entirely, and I'm now going into the analog realm as an experiment, what was your criteria for choosing gear? To me, it's craziness. The sheer amount of pedals that are out there that do drives and overdrives, fuzzes, this, that, and the other. There's just billions of them. How on earth did you decide what to do? Were you just following other people? Were you trying to get other sounds? For me, this is totally not the thing. I really don't try and copy other people's sounds. I get a lot of inspiration from, I don't know, grunge, metal, and all sorts of stuff. But the sounds that I really find that I like are weird, strangled ones, like running into a fuzz, totally wound down, so that you get all the harmonics coming out. And analyzing all this stuff, what I think I'm trying to do is get the most sounds out of one guitar. Just fill the entire spectrum of sounds, but leave spaces in there for everything to breathe. Kind of sounds ambient to me. I don't know. It's beyond genres. So that is my question to you out there, you know, world of the groups and hive mind. What on earth were you doing when you first got into these things? And what was your happy, freaky moment when you realized, gotta have that, gotta have that, gotta have two more other things. And where did you stop, or did you stop? Because for me, I don't know, this to me looks like months and months and months and months of happy experimenting. So, food for thought. Hope this is enjoyable. There's my vlog for this week, and I'm real busy of late, so I hope to get some more stuff out. Been strongly thinking and much enjoyed John Cordy's videos of today. If you haven't seen those, go and check it out. The entire idea of the Helix preset spillover thing, where you're chewing up a single DSP, that's something I've been thinking about for months and months and months before I got distracted by these things, and I don't know. Stay tuned. I think I might just go back and do some Helix stuff just to escape all this stuff now, because it's driving me insane. It really is. Anyway, I dig that thing. I really do. But it's going to be a while before I can do a proper video on it, because I need to get my head around it. And this thing does some crazy stupid stuff. Junior, you're going to have to give me an okay to say what this thing is doing. But that thing, holy crap. There's this brilliance going on inside that thing. Should be seen.